What's good, T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12, Episode 5 review. Want to give you guys a quick reminder that my collaboration with Pretty Girl Parlor Curvy Teak is coming up very, very soon. My collection with Pretty Girl Parlor Curvy Teak will be the Keisha Capsule Collection. It will feature 5 different outfits. I can't wait to show you guys what I've picked for my favorite summer looks. So get ready for that. All information and the outfits will be dropping very, very soon. But let's get into tonight's review. So we start the episode off with Garcelle showing her sister, I think her name was Chantel, if I'm not mistaken, her new beach house that she just purchased, which is very huge for her because she said growing up she didn't know anybody that had more than one home. And this is a fixer-upper. You know, it's very decapitated right about now. It really needs renovations and everything, so she's going to tear it down and build it up. And the mock-up that she had done looked really good. She's right there on the beach. And she was just so happy. And, you know, this is just something that she's just so proud of herself that she was able to do for her and her sons. And I just love it. I can't wait to see the finished process of it all. Then we see Dorit meet up with Erica for lunch. And they just discussed, you know, her going to therapy. She's still dealing with the break-in. And she says that, you know, they're going to go on a girls trip because PK said it'll be good for her to get out of town and just, you know, be around her friends and everything. Y'all already know how I feel about, you know, Dorit and this break-in. Okay, girl. All right. I wish her the best. Then we see Kyle and Crystal meet up for lunch. Kyle asks her to, you know, just say what it is that whatever Sutton said that was so dark. Like, can you please just say what it is? And Crystal refuses to say it. She says that she will not repeat it or whatever. And Kyle was like, well, if you're not going to repeat it, you shouldn't have never said it. And that's what we're all thinking at this point. Like, what was the point of you bringing it up if you're not going to say what this so-called dark thing is? Because it does lead people to think the absolute worst. And if it's not that case, then just, you know, expel everybody's, you know, thoughts and just say what it is. Kyle in her confessional is still standing on she does not know what in the hell Crystal is talking about because she was standing right there when they had the whole conversation about I don't see color, and she doesn't remember Sutton saying anything that was quote unquote so dark. And so Kyle then goes on to tell Crystal, I think you're gaslighting the situation. And Crystal was like, you know, you really have to be careful with that. And so Kyle was just like, well, basically, girl, you know, you need to kind of like stop with the passive aggressive shit and just say what it is that you got to say, stand on that shit pretty much. And I actually, for the first time, respected Kyle because she was upfront. She didn't do all that back and forth, going to tell other girls how she feels. She said everything to Crystal's face, which I do agree with. And I was happy that she did that. And so Crystal says that moving forward, she will try to be more open and direct. At this point, I'm starting to feel like Crystal put her foot in her mouth, or I don't know. It's just weird. Like, cause if you're not going to say it, then why did you bring it up? Why? And especially if you and Sutton are turning a leaf, y'all are trying to build a relationship, why do that to her? Why? What was the point? Because somebody called you out on your shit? I just don't agree with that, and I don't like it, and it's making me once again side-eye Crystal. Just when I think I'm gonna like her, she does something fucked up that makes me start looking at her crazy again. So I don't even know really where I stand with Crystal at this point as far as a viewer is concerned. I do think that in some instances she's really dope, that she, you know, can get in there with the girls and scuffle with the best of them, but then she plays this meek role where she acts like everybody is ganging up on her and bullying her, and she says shit, but then tries to backtrack on it. I don't really understand her. I really, truly don't. I really, honestly don't. And tonight on Watch What Happens Live, it was more of the same thing. She goes on to tell Andy that what we saw in tonight's episode wasn't even what she was referring to about this dark thing that Sutton so-called said. She said that her and Sutton had a one-on-one talk about it, and that Sutton apologized to her privately and publicly, but she won't be still saying what it is. Girl, go to hell. Please go to hell, Crystal. Girl, shut up. So after that, we see Diana visits Kyle at her home. And Kyle tells her about Paris' wedding and all of that good stuff, and how her own daughter, Farrah, was recently engaged, but she didn't want to bring it up because, it was Paris's special moment. But she's so excited and happy about that. And then the topic of children come up, and Diana says that, she wanted more children. And after she just had her daughter, she actually had gotten pregnant again with a little boy. Everything was going fine. She goes to have a hospital visit, and she finds out that the baby had passed away in her stomach and had been dead for a few weeks, and she didn't even know. So, that was very sad and, of course, unfortunate. And, it really fucked her up. So, any mother that goes through that, you got to feel for them. After that, we see Garcelle and Sutton meet up for dinner. And I lived for Sutton's little furry crop top and that silver necklace that she had on. So chic, so cute. I actually loved Garcelle's black, flouncy top. It was so sophisticated, so rich looking. I just lived for both of their looks. Sutton then goes on to tell Garcelle what she could possibly even think that Crystal is talking about. And she said it was a conversation that they had the following day after the whole I don't see color situation. And that she was telling Crystal a story about how her daughter was in like the pool or a hot tub or whatever with a little black girl, and it was an Asian girl and like an Irish girl or whoever, Irish kids, and she was just looking at it like, this is how life is supposed to be. She was like, that's all I see. I don't know what else this girl is talking about. And Garcelle was like, that's it? She was like, yes, that's the only thing that I could think of. And she was like, well, if that's it, like that, how could she feel like that was a dark statement? And so Garcelle goes on to tell her, watch your back with her, because I don't know. Like, she's really trying to make this thing seem like it was worse than what it is. And so I can't wait for the reunion to see, like, was what she was saying on Watch What Happens Live tonight even cap, like, I need to know from Sutton, like, what the fuck is going on here? So then we find out that Lisa Rinna's mother has passed away at the age of 93. May she rest in peace. But Lisa, however, decides that she's still going to go on the girls' trip because that is what her mother would want her to do, and that Harry and her girls encouraged her to go too, so she just won't be sitting around the house moping. If my mama died, I don't know if I would necessarily want to be on a girls trip. I can see, people encouraging you to do something, so you just won't be sitting in that state at home. So I guess, depending on my mind frame, I don't know if I would be physically even able to get on a plane to go somewhere. But it's not a bad idea, you know what I'm saying, to be around friends that can, like, take your mind off of it for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know really how I felt about that. So on the way to the resort that they're staying at once they get to Mexico, Garcelle is in the car with Sutton and Erica, and was it Kyle? I think Kyle or somebody. Yeah, it was Kyle. And she was like, I bet you $5 Dorita's speaking Spanish. Because, Dorit like to show the fuck off and show that she can speak all these different languages. And sure enough, she in that car speaking to the driver in Spanish. And Kyle was like, but she speaks in Spanish, but it's the thing of when they speak back to her in English. And sure enough, the damn driver was speaking back to her in English. And she trying to show off that she can speak Spanish. It's like, girl, Dorit, we get it, girl. You know some languages, girl. Aquí. Tomato, bitch. Uno, dos, tres. Girl, sit down somewhere. So we then find out that Diana flies her staff of people, honey, before her to wherever she's going, so they can get the mood set and ready, so they can have everything prepared for her. All she got to do is show the fuck up. I was like, baby, that's rich, honey. That is some rich bitch shit. Mind you, she also was the one that chartered the private jet for them, honey. I Googled Diana to see how did she come into her money, and I found out that from her ex-husband in their divorce, she got $137 million settlement. She then took that money and started like this business. It's something in like pharmaceuticals or a beauty industry or something to that effect, and that is what has amassed her a $300 to $400 million fortune. So you got to give it to Diana. I'm like, okay, girl, all right, bitch. She is a graduate of college, very smart, educated woman. So you got to give her that. Then we see the girls meet up for dinner that night. The ladies asked Lisa, how is she doing? How is she feeling? And she was like, it hasn't really hit her yet that her mom has passed. So everybody has gotten their drinks and stuff. And Lisa was like, so what did I miss since I've been gone, for the last week? Everybody just sitting there looking at each other. Everybody real quiet because, the elephant in the room is this whole dark thing that Sutton so-called said. While everybody is looking at each other crazy, Dorit arrives to dinner late, and they learn that the reason why she was late is because her room was on the first floor and it triggered her. So she wanted to be moved to a different suite. And I'm like, really, Dorit? So because your room is on the first floor, that triggered you into thinking that like somebody was going to break in and get you? Like what? I would rather be on the first floor if something like what just you said just happened to you happened so I could get the fuck up out of there quicker. Like what the hell? This is why I just don't believe this lady. But if she telling the truth, God bless her, child. So Lisa's still trying to find out like why everybody acting weird. So the whole thing with Crystal in this comment comes up, and Sutton was like, I just don't want any untruths to be spoken that could be very dangerous. And Crystal was like, we've talked about it and moved on from the situation. Like, I'm not trying to, go there with her. And so Sutton was like, then why bring it up? And Dorit was like, you said it was very dark. Crystal was like, words are like Rorschach. And Garcelle was like, Rorschach, like, what is that? I don't know what that means. And Chris was like, I know, these are big words. And Garcelle looked at her like, bitch, you could tell Garcelle wanted to call her a bitch. Like, she was like, girl, we know big words. I just didn't know what the fuck that one was. And that is the ink blot that psychiatrists use to, do little different exercises like, what do you see and all this bullshit. So this is what people be talking about with Crystal is her mouth. Like, girl, just because she didn't know what a Rorschach was doesn't mean that she doesn't understand big words. And at this point, now that I'm talking about it, when she said that her and Sutton already talked about it and they handled it, and she said that on Watch What Happens Live tonight, that Sutton gave her a public and private apology. So I'm thinking back to last season. If I'm not mistaken, I think I remember Sutton writing some type of apology to Crystal, but I think that had something to do with, like I said, I know this whole situation has to do with last season, but I'm thinking that they already squashed it. If it has anything to do with the whole race situation or the whole situation with her walking in on her while she was naked. It gotta be one or the other because, and I still call bullshit with Crystal. Something just ain't right about that whole dark statement. I just call bullshit. I don't know. I just don't believe what she's saying. So Sutton was like, it feels like you've tried to assassinate my character now twice. And Erica was like, see, but this is what I was saying last year. And she gets to trying to equate that Sutton, calling her a liar about this whole, case with the, the victims and everything. And Garcelle was like, you can't compare the two. Erica, was being judged by the whole world. You're just not being judged by one person. Like, Erica at this point needs to have several. Like, every moment she can try to take to try to spin it around to her and what happened last season. Girl, last season was last season. Shut the fuck up with your drunk ass and your drunk ass pussy. Like, I'm so happy that Garcelle is finally speaking up and standing up to these heifers this season and saying what it is. You can tell that after last season's reunion, Garcelle came into this season like, oh, y'all want me to speak up? Bet, I got it. Because even the way they treat her now is different. They even treat her more like she's a part of the group now. And it even seems on camera that Garcelle feels more comfortable and confident around these women. And she's refusing to settle and just take anything from them. And I can say the same thing for Sutton, especially on tonight's episode, child. So Dorit was like, do you think you were making it up? And she was like, no, Dorit, I'm not making it up. Kyle once again calls her a gaslighter and says that, she keep on spouting bullshit pretty much. Sutton was like, I know what I said. Erica was like, well, it seems like you want her to say she doesn't think you're a racist. And that's when shit went really left, because now the trigger word is out there, racist. And Sutton does not want that word associated with her. Do I think that Sutton is a racist? Absolutely not. I don't think that she's a racist at all. Was her comment last season about I don't see color an uneducated thing to say? Absolutely. But there are still some people that cannot be racist but still needs to learn certain things about race. So Lisa was like, well, it's already bad for you. Like, it's already bad for you. Just that word being associated with you is already bad. And Sutton was like, yeah, I know. And I'm fucking pissed. She was like, I said nothing wrong. And Crystal was like, well, I didn't bring it up. And Sutton was like, yes, you did. You did it. And you have a pattern with this with your friends. And I was like, ooh. And at first I thought she was talking about with the friends in this group, but she was actually talking about Crystal's friends outside of the group that she has heard from certain people that were close to Crystal to watch out for her, because she'll talk bad about people, and that she basically is a social climber. Like, she's going to do what she needs to do to get where she needs to be as far as in the socialite circle. And Lisa says that she also heard it, but that she just, hadn't, had an opportunity or thought of to bring it up yet. Lisa, she's very calculated. So I think it was a situation of her trying to find out the best and right time to pull that card on Crystal. So Sutton goes on to say, you need to stop it. And I'm telling you this because I like you. Sutton was pointing her finger and yelling at her like she was a little kid. And it was I'm telling you this because I like you that tickled me. So Erica was like, well, what does her friends have to do with anything? Girl, shut up, Scarecrow. So Sutton in her confessional goes on, to tell everybody what I just said. And everybody at the table at this point realized that Crystal wasn't talking about the whole I see color conversation, that she was talking about the conversation that took place between her and Sutton the following day that they showed us the flashback when she was talking about the kids being in the pool situation. And everybody was like, well, if that's what you was talking about was so dark, what's so dark about that? Like, we're not getting it. So Crystal goes on to say, to Garcelle, because Garcelle was one of the people who was like, that's not a big dark thing. Like, what? And so Crystal's like, but was it problematic to you? And Garcelle was like, no, we're upset because you alluded to it being this really bad thing that could get her canceled. And Crystal just sitting there with that Charlie Brown look on her face, looking stupid. And see, this is another reason why I call bullshit with Crystal, because on Watch What Happens Live, Andy flat out asked her, was the thing she was talking about that was so dark, was it the pool comment? And she said yes. But then in the next breath, she then went on to say it was something else. It wasn't that. It was another comment that she made. Girl, well, which one is it, bitch? Like, you playing tic-tac-toe, and ain't nobody got time to be playing with your ass, bitch. So at this point, Crystal's on my shit list, and I just can't with her. And if I was Sutton and Garcelle, like after tonight's episode, after her Watch What Happens Live, even though she tried to keep it cute, I don't know. It's just something about her I can't really vibe with. Like, she real wishy-washy. And we saw that with her last season, how she was kissing up to Erica and them ass and kissing their ass and trying to be a part of that clique last last season until she saw what us, the viewers, were saying. And I feel like she tried to come back this season trying to be cool with Sutton and Garcelle and them, because she knew that was where the home team was. She knew that that's what everybody, as far as the viewers were concerned, were the most likable cast members. So I don't know. I feel like what Sutton and Lisa heard about her being, you know, calculated and cunning as far as trying to climb the social ladder is true, because that's the traits that she's giving off. Let me know down below in the comment section. Do you agree with that? What do you guys think about Crystal and this whole situation? Let's talk down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.